What's up? This is Nick, Commissioner of the Pokemon Battle League, and you are joining me for a week of our Week 8, which is like the 8th week, 9th week, something, of Pokemon Battle Network, where we will be looking back at Week 7 and looking forward to Week 8. Let me give a ring-a-ding-ding to our guest tonight. Wherever he is on my list, there he is. Let's give a ring-a-ding-ding. Do we have him? Is it Zach?
Hello?
It sounds like Zach.
It's the elusive Zach, finally
Welcome
here.
back to the stream. How are you
Thank
doing on
you.
this fine evening?
I am doing well. It's been a good day. The sun is shining, and I'm happy for that.
That's always good. Oh, I didn't update those stats at the bottom. So, while we talk about the first week, the first match of the week, I'm going to update those. So, how about we hop right into it? So,
We're doing it live!
the first match is Cheryl against Chris, the Dunsparce versus the Weedles. This was...
Yeah.
We had Mega Evolutions, and there were big Megas this match.
We did get Mega Evolution this match. I also like to call this match B with a D's redemption
Yes,
arc.
it is. This is what we've all wanted. I don't care if not everybody's wanted this. Everyone's wanted this.
You're part of
Yes.
everyone now. Because I think before this week, Mega Beedrill was the lowest scoring Pokemon in the whole league with negative 11 points.
That sounds correct. He
had no
he was-
kills. The only positive stats it had were a couple pivots.
Yeah, I think its high stat was appearances. So,
and its appearances might be tied with its face.
yes, I believe they were. He was sitting at a cool minus 10 MVP points.
Yeah, I think it was minus 11, something like that. It was
It was
pretty
very
low,
bad. God, I don't want.
but enough shitting on Beedrill because it
yeah.
actually showed up
I
and did a lot
love
of work.
Beedrill, and there's a reason, because he's amazing.
It's also good having a Mega with a speed tier like Beedrill's, because it makes it really easy for you to look at a team and say, this is what is scarfed on
Yeah,
this team.
absolutely.
Otherwise, they have nothing to outspeed me. So they gotta, like, you look at this and it's like, Hydreigon's got, otherwise, or maybe it could have been Rotom. I think Rotom's fast enough.
Yeah, it
to outspeed
is.
with his
If
Scarf.
it's, yeah, I think it's like just fast enough. I think it's like somewhere mid to low 80s is the cutoff point of outspeeding it.
So even if it doesn't do much itself, it's good to force Scarves out of things. It's kind of how it felt when I had a Megalop.
Yeah, there are several Pokemon like that where, like they're just fast enough that something has to be scarfed, otherwise there's no way to outspeed them. Or I guess if you have a whatchamacallit, the sticky webs, you can do it that way as well. But yeah, they're in that speed tier where
Any way to get that one stage
Yeah.
on it.
because that's pretty much your only
We
chance.
also saw a lot more. We saw a lot more of the same from Chris, where Clefable, Gastrodon, and Scizor just take hits for the sake of taking hits.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, that was definitely, yeah.
Because I won't say that they do absolutely nothing else, but they don't do a whole lot of anything else. It's like coming out and getting punched in the face repeatedly and then calling it a day.
Yeah, they really have kind of run away with those tanked hits, and there will be some adjustments to stats to neuter that a little bit, because it has gotten a bit out of control. So
We did just see that high jump kick miss from Hawlucha. It is a little unfortunate, but I doubt that it did a whole lot to Alcremie. If it did anything, that plus Toxic maybe would have brought it into range for like an Acrobatics or something, so it could have played a role. I'm not sure.
yeah, but still in the end, I don't think it mattered all that much. I mean, Alcremie, because what was it able to... Oh, was it just able to pick up the KO on Mega Scizor?
I think Alcremie got like O-code 3 or 4 times later by Nasty Plot overheating.
Right. Yeah.
But as soon as she sees Rotom as Nasty Plot, she knows it's not scarfed, and that could be, then you say Hydreigon's probably scarfer.
Yeah, because there's, other than Bullet Punch, and I mean Lucha, we saw it did Sky Attack and get the Unburden boost. but then it switches out like 2 turns later, and yeah.
Yeah, I do like Unburdened Boost, but it does feel very punishing if you jump the gun. You jump the gun.
Yeah, if you pull it a little bit early, yeah, then it's used up, and then in the future he just has no ability.
Yeah, and then you give up your whole ability then and there, which was unfortunate. He went for that, got a boost, and then took to a high jump kick, miss, and then left and lost his ability effectively for the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean,
we also saw AV Excadrill, which is
that boy AV.
something. Yeah, which is something. I mean, I like AV Excadrill, and it's something that it seems like Cheryl really likes.
I love it
because she's run it. And then I guess the final thing I want to talk about is this last play where Beedrill hangs on by a thread, and I think I saw somewhere in the logs where Cheryl said it was a 50% chance.
Oh yeah, with his big fat 80 special defense.
Yeah, and that just kind of leads into, if you look up the calcs, it's a 50% chance to O-coat for like a really basic Beedrill set where it has no bulk at all. I do feel that Cheryl had the leeway to put some bulk on. I'm not sure if there was like a scarfer did that, or if she just doesn't speed creep, but I definitely think she could have put a little in to make that a little more favorable.
Make it a less than 50%, so maybe like a 12% chance by increasing it just by like 40 points or something.
Yeah, I'm sure even 60 points in special defense makes it not even a roll at all, but who knows. If he brought Fire Blast on that Hydreigon, it might have had a different outcome.
It's possible, yeah. But I think that's pretty much all there is to say about that match. We will then move on to our next match, which was the Toads versus the Amphiphoroses.
They love the
Amphiphoroses.
And I call this the Raul redemption
Yes,
arc.
he definitely, I think he finally got to do some of the things he was going for with his Mew.
Yeah, first off, I just want to say, holy shit, that Kyurem did so much damage to his Max.
What was that, Specs? Is that what we found out later?
I mean, it had to be modest Specs for it to do that damage. That was insane. And I think Dan did confirm
Big
that.
damage.
I did do some mocks with Raul this week, and it kind of came down to the realization with Dan's team, because he was playing around with a bunch of different setup Mew sets, and with Dan's team, he kind of figured out that all he needed was grass and fire coverage.
And he gets the whole team.
And he hits like 90% of damage. And the only things that doesn't hit aren't particularly threatening out the gate to Mew. So this was one of the times where Raul could afford to run setup and recovery with only 2 attacking moves.
And as we saw, it was able to do a lot of work, but I don't think the Celebi set that Dan brought was any help.
No, not at all. I think Dan got caught up in the idea
stopping
of
Ditto?
beating a Ditto with a Calm mindset.
Yeah.
Which I get the idea he's going for, but also,
well,
if Ditto came in, Raul would have to like sit in with Ditto.
Yeah, like that's the thing that I was trying to point out in our Discord chat sometime later. Is I was like, okay, if he copies it with Ditto, it can't do anything to your team. But looking at the matchup, it does nothing to his team. Like there's 3 resistances, so Mew and Gardevoir and Empoleon all resist your Psychic, because literally your only attacking move is Psychic. A Cinderace, sure, but Cinderace can hit you with huge U-turns, can hit you with Pyro Ball, can hit you with Sucker Punch. Like, Cinderace doesn't care. Gorgeist is bulky.
Snorlax is also...
Yeah, and then Snorlax, huge special defense. As we saw, it ate the Specs Draco Meteor, but... Well, I feel like the Celebi was a complete waste, and it spent way too much time on the field, which ended up causing him nothing but problems down the line.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we just get caught up in fun ideas that aren't great on paper, or are like fun on paper but not great.
Yeah, you're like, this if it works, it's gonna be really cool, and then you end up seeing down the line, you're like, you know what? that was really dumb. It wasn't gonna work. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Also, Raul did have, in my opinion, Raul had a 6-0 in his pocket a couple times this match.
It certainly was.
And he just kind of
there was absolutely that chance when he already had everything weakened.
With the Mew, with the Mew itself, if he didn't get a little greedy with the Politoed in front of him and just killed it, he wouldn't have got Perish Song. That would have been fine. And that Gardevoir,
he just said in the chat that I fucked up with that Gardevoir. Yeah, he traced just a little bit early.
Yeah, I don't know if the Mega was like, man, I fucked up, so I might as well Mega here. Because even if he did trace the right ability, as soon as you
gone.
Mega, you lose that ability anyway. So, I don't know. If I were him and I accidentally did that, instead of Megaing, I would have just brought Gorgeist. Because Gorgeist is...
Yeah, Gorgeist takes on Mega Swampert extremely easily.
Gorgeist takes on Dan's team.
Yeah, well, especially, we even see it throw down the super effective Ice Punch, which does basically nothing.
And he can't power up punch to gain attack on it. It's
it just kind of sits there.
Really nice switch in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Gorgeist is really good. I mean, Dan is slowly trading away a lot of the things that he has to take on grass types.
Yeah, he had 4 flying types to start the season off.
Yeah, and he had like a Blaziken, which is not as great an answer in a rain team, but it's still one.
It can still do something.
And we also saw Gorgeist get to dip into its decent move pool with Fire Blast to take on Ferrothorn. We saw it was a clean 2-hit KO outside of rain, so that was a really nice
that was kind of surprising to see it. I didn't quite know that it had that, but it's cool to see.
Yeah, Gorgeist's move pool is actually kind of stupid. It's really dumb.
I mean, we can agree to that.
And even though Gorgeist's special attack is super low, when you have a high BP move like Fire Blast and a 4 times weakness, you could really cash in on it.
So it was a good match, well fought, and the redemption arc continues for Raul. Or it begins, something like that. Well, no, it continues because he got a win last week, I believe, too.
He beat me. I think that was last week.
So there we go. He is on the road to victory.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have our next match.
Oh, also shout out to the crit. I know Dan was upset about that.
Yeah,
first crit.
there were 2 more.
It would have played any differently.
two crits on an increased crit, a move, and then a Flare Blitz crit too. So.
Yeah, I think the only crit that would have made a difference was the first crit. Once he got that, none of the rest really mattered, in my opinion.
Moving on to the Zeds versus the Larvitars. This one was the Great Wall versus the Great Speed.
Yeah. Oh, Isaiah didn't name his Hippowdon. Sandy Cheeks.
A lot of people have been forgetting nicknames, which, it makes me sad.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of it too.
But what can you do?
So, I do have inside scoop for Isaiah's team because I did a lot of practice with him, and Hippowdon was a very late addition to the team.
Really?
Initially it was Skarmory.
Okay.
Because Hippowdon against Mega Venusaur and a setup Comfey is not great.
Yeah.
And to like Mandibuzz, all it can really do is Toxic you and just kind of play that slow game.
Yeah, and it seemed like that's what a lot of where a lot of chip damage came from the team, is just getting Nepter getting I think 3 indirect KOs on the match, all from poisoning things. Yeah. Right.
Which leads so Skarmory was going to come initially, but every time we did mocks, every time he brought his Skarmory out to clear hazards, my Heatran could I'm going to say my Heatran because I was mocking the Heatran. My Heatran could come in, threaten it out, and just set the rocks right back on anyway.
So it
and there wasn't a whole lot Skarmory could do.
So yeah, Nepter was able to do a little bit of damage to the Dragapult.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
I think Nepter's pretty funny. I do see the value. I'm not undervaluing Whirlipede, but I do think he's just kind of there to set things up and get hit.
Yeah, I mean, that's a situation you do run into with a lot of Pokemon who really like that Eviolite. So a lot of those first stages is that with the Eviolite, they can take a lot of hits. And if they do have the added ability to set up hazards or throw out some good status, that's what they end up kind of just falling into a lot of times.
Yeah, and then I know one point of contention was the special attack drops from Moonblast. Without, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't really want to pick a side on that, really, but I know from practice that it is very difficult for a Comfey to beat a...
Yeah, that...
Even
even with the set, it didn't really look like... it would have had to do really... like really good hits every time.
With the set Zache had, he needed to be, after one Calm Mind that Florges got off, he needed to be +6, and it still wasn't 2-hit KOing of Florges. And Florges's Moonblast wasn't dropping Comfey special defense.
Nope,
but Moonblast is still doing 30-some%.
Big chunks.
Which is just one of the things that I keep saying. Florges is so good because it's defensive, but it hits so hard.
The special defense is just insane on it. It's what, 154. Yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy. Like,
and its special attack is like 114.
And also it's got a pretty good HP stat as well. So like, hitting on the special side is almost never the way to go, because you're really just not gonna be able to, do it.
and we saw that the later on we see the head. We see that's a physically defensive Florges too, and it was taking that lip. It's
just Florges, man. It takes the hits all day long. But I don't think there's too much more to say about this. We get a huge breakout game for Neptr. We get...
Yeah, big breakout game for Neptr. He did a lot. And since Isaiah didn't bring Defog because of how bad it felt to Defog in Mox, Neptr got a lot of poisons.
And he got a lot of hazards up. He ended up with 4 layers of hazards on that side.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It all hurt bad.
Yeah.
I guess one thing is the flinches. So like that flinch on Florges might have saved Heatran, because that Florges did have hidden power ground. If it didn't save Heatran, at least saved Heatran a lot of HP. But I guess Durant comes out and kills it
I don't think that one mattered too much. I think it was just kind of a womp womp. That sucks.
It would have been nice if it killed Heatran, then he's got Florges in on a Komodo.
True. And Kamo is gonna have to struggle to finish that up. But as we see it to finish out the match, two big flinches, which kind of just let it get knocked out of the game. And
we did get 2 big flinches, and I don't remember how much HP Darmanitan had. I think
57%, and it was toxic.
Yeah, so 57%. It's going to take 25, so it's going to be 32%. Then it's going to take 12% from spikes. So then it's at like 20%. One turn of toxic, it's still living, and so even if that Komodo protected a Zen headbutt, or he lives another turn and a Zen headbutt will kill the next turn. So even though the flinches felt bad, I think all it did was make it more like it just gave Isaiah one more difference.
it didn't affect the match too much. So it was kind of just a struggle. I think it was another one of those, so similar to the Celebi, not quite as bad as the Celebi, but similar to it. Just having something out against something that you're really not getting any ground by doing it. Yeah. So like, sure, those draining kisses are giving you 75% of the healing back, but if you're only doing 10% damage, you're really not doing much.
In the Mox, I even gave myself a big root to get more back, and it just wasn't doing anything. I was getting no HP back.
It's just a struggle in that situation, but...
And with Taunt, you don't have Synthesis, so that's the only way you're getting HP back, that and Leftovers.
It was a rough matchup there, but in the end, you do have the powerful offense that is able to take the W away.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say that Darmanitan is scary. Looking at calcs, even physically defensive melodic can get 2-hit KO'd by a banded Darmanitan.
It's one of those things where some very powerful moves have that just a like 10% chance of a secondary effect. Slap a Sheer Force on it, that's terrifying.
Yeah, Darmanitan's just a terrifying Pokemon.
It's scary, but well, it hasn't done anything crazy so far. He does have bigger performers on his team, but it's one of those things that's a constant threat.
I mean, I think it's got 7 or 8 KOs still. I think it has 7 KOs. So,
I guess it's just out of the top.
Yeah.
For season KO leaders.
I think a lot of the times people's response to Darmanitan is just let it kill itself with recoil and cover it rocks, and that's kind of all.
Heal your own team until it kills itself. Yeah, there you go. It's not an amazing plan, but it's a plan.
I mean, that's what I had to do, and I think that's kind of what Zache had to do, because he does have Komodo as an answer, but with that Zen Headbutt, that does like 60-some% to Komodo.
So nothing crazy. All right, let's move on to our next match between the Dracovish and you yourself, the Victini. So we have a very proper lad coming in this week.
He's a
right proper lad. And all he does is he just hits things over and over and over, over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised by his success because all I did was just throw on a gut set and called it a day.
I mean, it did what it needed to do.
Yeah, I honestly wanted that Cobalion set to do more, and I didn't really do any calcs for it. I just thought it was a fun idea, and I'm gonna do it, and I don't know how much damage it's doing to things. And we saw the Adrenaline Orb pop, and I got my speed boost, and I was ready. I was at +3, +1, and I Iron Headed, and it didn't kill.
that puts you in a rough spot because then, what other attacks did you have?
I had Close Combat and Stone Edge.
Okay, so yeah, at a +1, maybe +2.
I mean,
you would have been doing good damage.
If it killed the Landorus, I'm pretty sure Cobalion swept the whole team.
Maybe not Jirachi. I think that might have. I mean it's not going to do too much back, but it might have taken a hit. And might have been able to.
I mean, at +3 Close Combat is still, I don't know, maybe, but that does a lot of damage. But yeah, afterward I looked at the calc, and there was no way ever that Cobalion was going to kill. So
it was a fun idea.
I would have looked at the calc,
until it didn't work.
It was a fun idea, and if I would have actually looked at the calc beforehand, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Knowing that at +3 I'm still not killing the Landorus, which I expected.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta try the set and see what happens, and if it doesn't work, you gotta shoot your shot.
And then I had that conch set before. Well, I had the whole team really, except for the Togekiss. I'll put the little asterisk on it. Set before all of his roster changes.
Gotcha.
Togekiss was the addition because I swapped Haxorus, and Haxorus was the one there initially. And I just kind of played very middle ground. Like, I didn't really do a lot of prepping for his team specifically.
Well, you also had a few series of unfortunate events in this match. So, missed Blue Flare. What else do you have? He got.
I had a miss. He got the special attack drop into a miss Blue Flare into a static proc.
Yeah, it was. There were a few unfortunate things that happened, but in the end, it did not matter enough.
It's even if it didn't matter, it's Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's just kind
of
how Pokemon
just how it
works.
be sometimes.
It is how it be sometimes, but like I played I had very middle ground sets. Like Conch had Drain Punch, Mach Punch, and Facade.
No,
and that's
all I needed, really. Yeah. Because
like if I'm not hitting you with Drain Punch, I'm hitting you with a Facade.
Doing at least like quarter damage on neutral hits is that's scary.
Yeah, and we saw that Facade was doing like 60-some% to that.
So yeah, there wasn't much he could do to stop it.
Corviknight was really the Corviknight was really stupid, and I was happy.
You were happy that it didn't get to
do? I mean, it didn't get to do what it was supposed to do, but it did have. It was defensive, physically defensive, with body press and a fist plate, which does boost body press.
Fist plate, there you go. Big item plays.
which is something that guarantees an OCO on a Lucario if he tries to get cheeky.
There you go. Yeah, we haven't seen his Lucario come back since it's been obliterated the past couple matches, or if he tries to get a little greedy with it.
Which, yeah, and I was so caught up in how funny that set was to me that I clicked body press on a team that didn't care about body press.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got static paralyzed for it, and I didn't defog.
This is what you get in return for trying to be cheeky.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. Like what I was saying before was I also brought Victini. I had to bring at least once this season, and I did. So I got 2 Glaciate kills. I've done my job this season. He's
got the coverage, and you can use it. Because what's the strength of Glaciate?
Like 65.
It was enough. It's enough.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think the Glaciate on that Zapdos at the end was a roll. And Zapdos was at 29%. That's a super effective move. Just
not that strong.
just showing how little damage it honestly does.
But it's there. It's ice coverage.
It's there. It is, instead of HP fire, I can run that and lower HP ice, I can run that and lower your speed.
There you go.
That's kind of the only thing it's there for.
All right. So that was a match. We will move on to our next one. We have the newcomer versus the has-been champion, the Togepis versus the Sneasels. This match, there were some weird sets. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
There was no offense on the Carbank, which I found kind of interesting. I'm not sure why she had the safeguard.
I mean, I think this was all a plan to let Mega T-Tar set up. It can't be status, it can't be...
Yeah, and reduce damage on both sides. I guess that does make sense.
Which I guess is fair. One thing is, I don't know why, after a Toxic, why Medicham would sub up. Because you're just going to slowly die to that Toxic, and now you've just sacrificed 25% of your health. I think Evan had to switch out with the sub still up anyway. So.
Well, and the T-Tar thing is, it looked like Lauren, I'm not sure if she was trying to like overpredict with what attack she was doing, so she threw out the Fire Punch, trying to predict maybe the Sceptile coming in to outspeed
and that
it.
crunch. That crunch at the end was almost absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm assuming she didn't want Earthquake again because of the possibility of Tornadus coming in.
Yeah, Tornadus. Lauren's new, but she's shown she's not afraid to make predictions. She does a lot of predicting.
Yeah, and then we do also see the embargo come out, which was, I'm not entirely sure why.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be a very specific item.
Yeah,
that's what it does, right? Stop the item from working. For it to take a whole moveslot on Cofagrigus, there had to be a very specific item that she did.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was coming from, but it didn't really do anything. So there's a lot of niche stuff with Safeguard and Embargo, and we just see, she's got the niche stuff, and Evan just brings the obvious stuff, which is, just come in, Arena Trap, and I kill you. The Revenge Killer does a revenge kill. Great surprise.
And Colossal will just eat 20 hits and set up rocks and clear hazards. And if that Tornadus didn't bulk up, the Stone Edge would have killed it.
And we all need to pour one out again for our poor old Magneton.
Getting destroyed by
He has made 2 appearances, and both times have been just a straight up KO. He's come in, died to an attack, and that's been all. So we got to pour one out for the boy.
It's just kind of hilarious. It's hilarious that Colossal has no recovery. And he did a bunch of Flare Blitz damage, and he still tanked 5 or 6
he took 5 hits in the match. It's just...
He's like, yeah, whatever, I don't really care.
Yeah, the guy, he's there, and he's taking hits.
And he even got the Flame Body proc that didn't end up mattering, but he got it just for stats. Which is, living up to its potential that we saw. It's got a whole lot of
usability, and, sure, he was running Flame Body, but... Lauren had to be careful throwing out Fire Punches, because if for some reason it was Steam Engine and switches into that Fire Punch, well, okay. There's a +6 Colossal for some reason.
Doesn't it get flash fire too? I think it does. It gets something like that. I know it has flame body and steam engine, and I feel like
I think
fire.
so, yeah. It's just...
So, I mean, you really don't want to throw out fire.
Yeah, no, when he's there... Well, especially because he takes quarter damage, so it's not like he really cares anyway. Even if he did take damage from it, he didn't care. He didn't give a shit.
Also, it was really... I guess I wouldn't say that Lauren shouldn't have brought Tyranitar or anything, but setting up the sand for Colossal makes it even
Oh, that's true. That is that rock-type special defense boost. He does get it.
Which makes him just stupid bulky.
And he's already bulky
and
enough.
I think, yeah, and the lack of rock stab, I think, was a downfall for.
Yeah, he kind of gets stuck in a situation there where he's got to go with crunch for stab, but
yeah. And if you don't get 2 Dragon Dances, that Dugtrio's guaranteed outspeed you and come in. So it's not like you're gonna sweep. It's gonna end you right there.
T-Tar definitely wants +2 speed for sweeping, at least.
Yeah, and I mean, Evan probably could have just scarfed the Dugtrio and still would have outspeed at +2. So I don't know what he brings, but I know when I do. I think a few weeks ago they battled, and I did mocks with Cheryl or with Lauren, and I was just showing Lauren, you know, he could just scarf this Dugtrio and come in and revenge kill
everything.
Like,
yeah,
he could have Earthquake to revenge kill a Scarf Nihilego. He could have HP Fire to revenge kill a Scarf Kartana. He just comes in and does what he wants.
Speaking of Nihilego, so she wanted the Reflect Up. She had the Shuka Berry.
Right. Oh yeah.
I want to say it would have been enough. I don't know if it would have.
I think with a Reflect, with a Reflect and Shuka,
maybe.
Probably maybe. Reflect Shuka and Invest.
It was that was seeing that proc was kind of funny, but gotta be honest.
I did see that and I was like, oh
yeah. It was cute though. We'll give her points there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get.
So that was our week 7 matches. We're gonna move on and look at our standings right now. So all the way at the tippy top with his huge +23 differential, we do have Evan of the Saffron City Sneasels, a big 6-1. Oof. He has jumped out to a big lead. And right behind him, the villain, the heel, we have Dan still in the top 3, even after 2 pretty significant losses in a row. He's still he's still there.
Yeah, he's still there because he got a lot of huge wins, and he just now got 1.
Yeah, so he had like 3 weeks in a row of very significant wins, and now 2 weeks of very significant losses. So.
Yeah, he needs a couple significant losses for that to go back down.
And then we have the Larvatars in third at a respectable +3. They've stayed pretty close to the top the entire season, so they're doing well. And then creeping up behind them, surging your way towards the top, we have the Victinis. You do have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it surge.
I mean,
but yeah.
If we go back 3 weeks?
I started 0-2.
Yeah.
I know that.
So I think it took until week 4 for you to get out of 10th place. So you are, I would say, surging. You are.
Okay, sure.
You have moved up every week
surging
since you started back on a win streak. So you're working towards the top. And the Dracovish right behind you continue to slide. I say slide. Theirs is not a huge drop, but they're ever so slowly.
I have usurped him.
Yes.
I have usurped Greg.
He hasn't been able to make too many big performances, so he's close at a -1 differential and just kind of slipping back a bit. Maybe he'll stop trading away so many things every week and decide on a team and play with it. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think Greg has an idea of what his team is. He just likes to play with the idea of doing it, which makes the league more fun when you can try different things. You know, you try things that have been done over and over, and it's like whatever. You know, we've seen this before.
Try something new.
I want to try something crazy. Different.
Yeah.
And I don't expect to see Greg dropping much further than that.
Yeah, no.
I think 5th or 6th is the lowest he's.
Yeah, he's got a solid team, so he should have a pretty good time as long as he doesn't get too niche with his sets. He should have a pretty decent time staying towards that middle ground at the very least. And then right behind him, the only negative record team with a positive differential, we have the Zeds.
Which is so odd for Zeshe, because he's usually he has the positive record with a negative
but he's doing well. I think he's just got to find the right ways to use the wall, and I think he's getting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wall is a team identity. He is not very sold on right now.
He's still working through it.
With. And he's kind of made small changes to make up for that. Although he picked up Whirlipede, which is kind of just more leaning onto the wall with like toxic spikes and you can't kill me, so you just literally die.
It's definitely he's going for something there. It feeds into the wall, but
I love the Latios though.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get some good usage out of it.
I love both the Latios are amazing to me, and if I wasn't committed to the Victini bit, I would have
commit to the bit.
Yeah, and it's so funny because Victini is a psychic type, which almost never runs real psychic moves.
He doesn't. Maybe stored power, but
because it's and I
can't do the Z celebrate because that's poopy. We don't like that.
So the best he's got is a stab psychic off of 100 special attack, which is not the most impressive. So
then next up,
I dedicate the psychic slot to a Pokemon that doesn't use psychic.
There you go.
moves.
Hey, he's there. He's got that psychic typing, so he counts. But next up we have the Weedles with a -2, so they're still kind of floating in there. They're in the negative, but I don't think it's gonna be for too long. I think Cheryl has a pretty good chance of just getting a good win and popping right back up into the positives.
I agree. I think Cheryl will do enough to get into the playoffs by the end of the season.
And then
and we do know, I don't know if stats or something we're covering with later, but
we'll talk about
we do know her Dracovish. Yeah, her Dracovish is going on.
It always is. It's always popping off at some point or another.
Yeah.
Then we have, speaking of popping off, we have the Ampharos working their way back up the standings slowly but surely. They've moved up, I think, one spot each week, maybe. But they're working there. They're 3-4. The -9, not too bad. Just gotta get the swing of things. Gotta get in the groove.
We're all starting to put more time into thinking out sets and bringing sets that make sense for the team he's battling.
So he's working his way up,
which I think is something. I don't think is exclusive to Roll. I think sometimes people just bring sets because they're fun sets, but they're not good for the match you're doing.
And so then we move on to Lauren in her rowdy teenage phase with the niche sets and the strange things. At
the
rowdy teenage phase. Yeah.
Oh. That's what we're talking about. I see.
She's growing up through Pokemon. But she's 2-5 with a -10 differential, so struggling a little bit, but we've seen worse at this point from teams before, so I don't think
we've absolutely seen worse from teams.
So I don't think she's gonna stay down for too long.
Yeah, Lauren said that she hates losing, so we
like that fire, we like the drive.
Yeah.
And then continuing to barely keep his head above water, we do have the Dunsparce at the bottom. He was able to only take a -1 on the week for his differential, but he's still in a pit.
That's bigger than the other losses.
He's got to fight his way out of this.
I don't know that he's keeping his head above water. He's
just below water. But hey, he did find the Mega Evolution button this week, so credits where it's due.
And I think that would, if he continues to do that, it'll help
those huge attacks coming out of a Mega Scizor are scary to everything. So
I think Chris should just probably start bringing more. He's brought 8 of his Pokemon.
Yeah, he does need to reach a little further down in his. And
most of the time they're really similar sets too. So even only using those 8 Pokemon, you could also vary that. But we've seen Nasty Plot. We've seen Nasty Plot, Rotom Heat. We've seen Scarf, Hydreigon. We've seen Wish, Protect, Clefable, and Scald, Recover.
Get a little spicy. You got that Kadabra. Show us what that Kadabra's all about, man.
Yeah. The Kadabra, man, I want to see what that's gonna do. But it's just like when you bring the same stuff, it kind of gives people a template. Like, okay, I need to beat this set.
Yeah, if you bring ladder sets every week,
You
people are
can
gonna
beat
be
this
ready for ladder sets.
But it's not my team, so he can run it however he wants.
But speaking of your team, we're gonna move on to roster changes. First up, we had a trade between you and the big evil Dan. He's trading off his Noivern and $1 to get your Jolteon. So
I am accruing currency.
well, you spent a little bit, but you gained a little bit as well. So finally getting rid of Jolteon.
I ask people for money, and I'm getting money.
You didn't seem to be a big fan of
Also,
Jolteon, so I assume this is a good thing
don't
for
like
you.
Jolteon. I'm happy with it. I don't like Jolteon. I know a lot of people will, but Jolteon, for me, was just on the team for its speed tier.
And now you got Noivern.
And I'm getting, I'm getting Noivern, which isn't losing much.
Well, you
in
also
that speed
replaced
tier.
your Lost Dragon, so you traded away Haxorus, and now you pick up Noivern. So you do have some Dragon again on the squad.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about not having Dragon.
But you have it.
Easy peasy.
Your core is complete again, man.
I mean,
Fairy Steel Dragon. It's a core.
I know, and I hate the Fairy Steel Dragon core and how necessary, but I do have it. And I did give Dan a tier 3 slot for a tier 4 slot, but I like tier 4s more than I like the tier 3s.
Yeah, and
to be honest, and I like Noivern more than I like Jolteon.
Yeah, and I'm not sure exactly what Jolteon does for his team. It's fast, but he's already got Coco.
I think it just gives him a tier 3 slot, and if he has enough money to replace it, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I guess this is true. Let me see, how much money does he have left?
If you look at his team, he's got he's got a lot of high-end slots. He's got the value.
He does have enough for a tier 3 change, so I guess he can do something.
So I think he's gonna drop that Jolteon. He's gonna drop that Jolteon for something almost guaranteed. Hopefully something that can help him with grass types.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything about that right now. Or he...
Yeah, he just gave me his Noivern,
hey,
which is even more.
He's got
He's got
Smogonbird.
Kyurem and Talonflame. Yeah, he's got Kyurem and
Big ol'
Talonflame.
Smogonbird.
Which just means if someone has an answer to Kyurem and Talonflame, then their grass type can come in without...
Yeah, pretty much. But,
so...
Now we're going to go into our free agent changes and other Z-move changes. So first of all, you also made another change. You got rid of the chamomile, no calming tea, and you picked up the boy, the Jelly Belly. It's Reuniclus.
Jelly Belly is here.
You gotta commit to the bit, man.
Now is the time. Now is the time.
Good old uncles.
I got him just in time for his matchup against an Aegislash and a Grimmsnarl. Perfect.
It's yeah.
He's ready for the matchup.
He can do
He's here for it.
The boy's here to fight. He's not giving in. He's a champion. Jelly Belly in the chat.
Yeah, I love him, and going back to kind of what I was mentioning earlier, is Victini is the psychic type that always takes my slot that doesn't use psychic moves. Reuniclus will use psychic moves.
Yeah,
so,
and it's got Regenerator. It's got some like crazy physical moves for some reason.
It's got crazy physical
for
moves.
some reason.
I don't really know why. But you know, he's got the Regenerator, the Magic Guard.
Definitely some fun sets can be run with it.
Which are both really
you
useful.
Screw it. You go Trick Room, man. Go crazy.
I definitely could. Yeah, I could always.
Does Reuniclus have teleport? Oh damn.
No,
okay.
He does not. Which is a point I made to Zashay earlier, that Arcanine can teleport, but Reuniclus cannot.
It makes sense. Sure, whatever. Gen 1, man.
Generation 1. Everyone loves Generation 1.
So it gives us so many weird things.
It's so stupid that a fire dog can teleport.
Makes sense. It's all logical.
And this psychic type
Don't question it, man. It all makes sense.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Saffron City Sneasels did make 2 roster changes. They dropped Metacham to pick up the other Vish, but the other Vish of the colder variety.
Huge. So this is what he was looking into answers, and I think Arctovish is okay. It's like a Lapras
in a way,
where you have to watch out for Stone Edge. but you can come in on Vicious Rends and freeze try back. So
it is,
as long as the Stone Edges aren't too scary, you're fine.
It's an interesting pick. It's another new Pokemon that no one really sniffed at, but he's picked it up. So we'll see.
It's all right. I think we've seen a lot of like Assault Vest Arctivish sets on Showdown that are pretty interesting, and they tank pretty well.
Yes, it cannot have its hidden ability though. That is a thing, since it is not available in the games in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Imagine those were available, and Cheryl
we don't need that.
Sand Rush.
We don't need that.
Had Sand Rush on that
We
team.
don't need that. We don't need that at all. We don't talk about that nightmare that could exist. We don't need that.
Yeah. I think Evan was talking to me about getting Cradilly as an answer to Dracovish, and I kind of gave him the idea that that's not happening.
No, you got to keep that ugly ass noodle head.
Yeah. And that might have been the next best answer for a Dracovish answer. I think he expects Cheryl to be big competition, obviously during the season and potentially
playoffs. Yeah,
playoffs.
So he wants to have some type of answer. And his next roster change was dropping the Rotom Wash and picking up Xurkitree. So something that has had very little use in the league. It now is picked up.
Dude, I wanted Xurkitree at the start of the season, and I ended up taking Breloom because I wanted Xurkitree because Xurkitree's so cool to me, and he does so much damage. It's stupid.
Tail Glow. Why not?
And I guess I never really looked at how he matches up against my team, but it's probably amazing, and that's one of the reasons it's there. But,
yeah, and
I wanted it,
but it has been picked up on the has-been champion.
Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought on this statement. I wanted it at the beginning of the season, but I needed priority, so instead of taking it at tier 2, I took Breloom and I settled for Jolteon, which is how Jolteon got on the team.
It happens.
And I wish I just took Xurkitree out the gates.
Well, with Xurkitree, he also switched, since it does automatically pick up a Z-Stone from Rotom Wash, he did also use his Z-Captain change to switch stones between Tornadus T and Xurkitree. So, a Z-Captain Xurkitree, Z-Hypnosis, Z-Electric Terrain.
Yeah, both of
this boy is gonna be scary. You better bring your electric immunities.
I mean,
but then also make sure you can survive an energy ball.
Even if I do, I think he has energy ball. So
everybody just has to get. Oh wait, he has Mega Sceptile, the Lightning Rod Grass Pokemon. He picks off the things that can slow him down and stop him. If he goes with But those.
I think that's a decent pickup. Evan's team is pretty middling speed tier.
Yeah, so now
he's got like a couple fast boys and a lot of slow boys, and that'll just rest right in the middle.
And with the ability to boost its speed and give it some abilities to just pop off. Yeah, it'll be fun to see. To see what he does with Xurkitree.
Evan's team is kind of like a project that's dedicated to it's kind of dedicated to abilities over raw stats with like the asterisk of like Aegislash.
Yeah.
And I guess the asterisk of Xurkitree now, because that one stat is stupid.
Very stupid.
He's just like banking off of, he's got a couple Regenerator Mons, he's got Prankster, he's got Arena Trap, and he's got Dance Change, like all these
he's got some dirty, nasty stuff on his team.
Yeah.
And
so like and then that's not something you can quantify.
No.
So like when we do the charts that show that Evan's team is pretty slow and pretty not bulky.
At face value, it's like, nothing's too fast. A lot of things are really strong, but they have this big downside. But all of them together, it's kind of disgusting. And our last change of the week is the Dracovish are moving their Z-Stone from Lucario to the newly acquired Haxorus. So the boy's going to throw down some Z moves.
Sad. I do think Haxorus deserves a Z-Stone, but I am sad that it had to come off of Lucario.
Yeah.
I think Lucario is a really cool Z-Mon. Even though he only has 90 speed, I think you can...
Yeah, Lucario's it's had some interesting seasons, and we'll see what it gets to do now that it doesn't have a Z-Stone.
I like Lucario, and I understand that it's really frail and it only has 90 speed. But I do really like it, and I love seeing it pop off. That first week when it did really well, I loved seeing that. That was great.
Yeah.
But, It's dropped off since.
So moving on, we're going to look at our matches for Week 8. First up, we do have the Weedles versus the Togepies. We have a cat fight, boys and girls.
Don't call it that. I will not be part of that.
Well, I said it. It's out there in the airwaves. You can't say anything about it.
It is Cheryl versus Lauren. And
it's going to be an interesting one. We have the dual weather versus... I mean, the newbie's gone up against some weather before, but...
But she hasn't gone up against...
Yeah, the Big Fish. And
so...
let's see, looking at her team... She's... Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, scary. Right? Let's look at her.
She has no immunities to it, so no water absorbers, no storm drainers.
It's like, what switches in?
Yeah, she's gonna...
Nothing on this
She's
team.
gonna have to deal with that.
Coffagrigus maybe, and you take away Strongjaw, but then you probably die to the next one still.
Yeah. It's gonna be a rough match.
I think she's gonna learn firsthand.
Yeah, this may be the week that Dracovish takes a huge jump ahead of everybody in the league KO wise. It just sneaked ahead. It's got 11 as its total for the season, just jumping ahead of the two people with 10. So Nike, one of them, good job, and
Nike doing
someone else is there as well. I don't remember, but
Nike's been on a grind for his KOs. He's come like 2.
Yeah, it hasn't been a 6-0 week. It's been
some of the leaders got 6 KOs in 1 week and then haven't gotten a KO in 4 weeks.
There has been someone who's done that. That's a thing.
Yeah.
But it'll be good luck to Lauren. You have a trial by so much fire, but no, not fire. It's water. It's so much water.
She's gonna have to come up with something, because I mean, I don't think even revenge killers are difficult. I don't know what comes into revenge kill, because you're gonna have to scarf it to make sure you're faster, and that's like Nihilego and Kartana, and I don't think a Kartana Leaf Blade Oko is a trick.
Maybe on a crit, but that's if you're going with choice scarf, you're only going with that 12.5% chance, or I guess 12, since there are no decimals in Pokemon. They just don't exist.
I don't see a whole lot of like revenge killing opportunities there, so we'll see.
Good luck to her. It'll be a rough match. That's all we can really say. Next up,
when you have limited switch-ins and limited, I mean, I'm gonna say she doesn't have any. She have no switch-ins and limited revenge killing opportunities.
She's gonna have to struggle for it.
Yeah, but I don't want to dwell on it too long.
Next up, we have the Zeds versus the Toads. So, the Big Rain versus the Big Wall.
The Big Rain. He does have Jolteon this week, so he can't drop that. Dan, I mean, he has to wait to drop that to get something more useful to him, which means I think Mega Venusaur is a problem for Dan's team.
Yeah.
A big problem.
I mean, unless he gets weird with his Coco, or maybe he tries Smokenbird to actually do something, he's gonna have to break through.
I'm pretty sure Banded Brave Bird Coco still doesn't do over half.
Yeah, probably.
So, yeah, it's gonna be problematic for him, I think.
Yeah, dealing with the Venusaur is a big thing. I mean, he has ground threats or things he can use ground for Heatran. I mean, Latios could also be dangerous because it can sit there and deal with things. So like, if he choice scarfs it, even if Zygarde gets a Dragon Dance off, it's still faster.
Right.
KO that. Same with Kyurem. It'll still be faster with the choice scarf, even at +1.
Yep. It's really good. I think Latios is a really good bring.
Yeah, it especially if he choice scarfs it, it outspeeds. I don't think it outspeeds Swampert in the rain. It does? Okay. But does it get grass other than hidden power grass?
I think it gets energy ball.
Yeah, a choice scarf Latios can definitely be there to keep a whole lot of things on Dan's team in check.
It's just a note I have in my mind. I know 110 speed is what you need.
That's the line.
Mega Swampert. 110 is literally the cutoff, and that's what Latios is. So it's like perfect.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe Latios will actually get to do some good work this week. It hasn't gotten to do too much yet, but
looking for it.
Usually Kamo is his dragon of choice.
Yeah. I mean, he loves Como, but I just think Latios is so good. I hope he continues to grow.
And I definitely think Dan is going to have to go for some type of boosting set this week because to get through the walls, he's got to boost his stats.
I would not be surprised if Dan brings something that Zache does not approve of, because he might have to get crafty to beat this matchup.
So we will see if the Great Water can wash over the Great Wall. Moving on, Larvatars versus Dunsparce. This one, as I bring up every week, we have the huge speed out of the Larvatars.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't want to dwell too much on these because I know we're
a little long.
And I think, I mean, I've got Isaiah's back in this matchup. Until Chris shows me something different than what he's been doing, I don't think he's got.
Yeah, I mean,
he does. I mean, I think Isaiah could struggle to break
Clefable.
Clefable
For sure.
But he does have Durant and Darmanitan when played very carefully.
Yeah.
Can do that.
Especially Durant with the Z Stone, if he gets it on, if he can get a good Iron Head. Like a Corkscrew Crash, he might be able to just blast through it, but Chris does have things that can switch into that.
If he finds, whatever Chris's Scarfer is, which I think could very well be Hydreigon again, if he takes Hydreigon down, I mean, Durant can go.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I think speed will play a big role in this. Who can have the better speed, and then breaking key characters, so like that Clefable, and I mean maybe even things like Hippo might be able to just slow down the progression of Chris's team as well.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, I mean, you just have to find out how you can answer Clefable and Gastrodon with the same Pokemon basically, and if you can do that, then you got it.
But we will see where that one goes. But next up, we have the Rising Raoul versus the Dropping Dracovish. We will see... the
Rising Raoul and the Dropping Dracovish.
Yep.
Welcome to Alliteration Hour on PBL.
I'm very clever. Thank you. But
I think it's a good matchup. I like both Raoul and Greg and how they play and stuff. So
yeah, they're keeping their teams very interesting. We'll see if Mew and Ditto, the variability between those two, is gonna slow down Greg. Ditto hasn't come too much, but Greg does like two baton pass.
Yeah, and I'm very interested in how that affects how Greg is motivated to set up with things like Haxorus and stuff. I don't know if he's going to win. I was gonna say I'm very interested in Haxorus versus Garchomp. I think that's two really
who will be
cool
the greater dragons.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool, fun matchup, but I don't know if it comes. Maybe he's scared of Ditto, and it's just so hard to overcome a Garchomp.
Yeah, it is Garchomp. He is, in most cases, the apex dragon of legal dragons to use, because he's scary.
He's just so good. If he got
Dragon Dance,
Dance, it would.
That was
horrible.
The thing when we heard about him going to make it into Gen 8. We were like, oh shit! If he gets Dragon Dance, this could be the end of all dragons outside of Garchomp. They would not matter anymore.
Yeah.
But we will see who has the greater dragon in this match. And then for the last match, you go up against the has-been champion. How are you feeling?
Yep. I mean, I'm not really feeling it anyway.
Well, especially with his pickups. There's some more things to do with. He's got the tree.
He's got a circuitry thing going. I think he knew ahead of time that I didn't have Jolteon anymore either, so that just made it even more.
Yeah, he would have had to hear that one from Dan. Because 'twas not I.
No, I think I told him.
Or you told him. Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
We just talk very casually, and I don't really care. So,
but you do have.
I don't think I have a circuitry answer, so let's have fun.
Yeah, especially because Seismitoad cannot take the energy balls. So, yeah. You might be struggling
He could probably just run. He could probably just run Thunderbolt, HP Ice, and Energy Ball
on Z
or
electric
he could have
terrain.
a Hypnosis. Yeah, and he probably just cleans there.
It's dangerous. You got to find your answer for that.
I mean, outside of Zergatry, he also has like Age of Slash and Grip.
Yeah, there is that. Those are things.
So I'm not going to rack my brain about it. I'm just going to make a fun team.
Just kick his ass. Do what you do. All right, well, that is going to wrap up PBN for this week. Thank you for joining me, Zach. Good luck in your next match. We will see how it goes next week.
All right, well, thank you.
We will talk to you another time. Maybe after your match, we'll have a talk with you, yeah? Yeah? When you win,
are you putting our match
when you
on
get the
stream?
big W, maybe we'll have a conversation. All right, we will talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, that is going to be the Pokemon Battle Network for the Pokemon Battle League for this week. As I'm starting to do these promotions, check us out on the Twitter thing. Check us out on the YouTube thing. These videos get uploaded there afterwards. Check out for us. Watch out for us. We're out here. We out here. Sorry, not we're. We out here. I have to say it correctly. But with that, like, subscribe, smash things. Yeah. Outro theme. Boom.